A very good afternoon and welcome to Lunchtime News on TV1. We're coming to you live and direct from the Newsfirst studios here in Colombo. Let's first start off with a look at the stories that made it to your headlines this afternoon.
A group of UNP parliamentarians and Prime Minister met the President. Sri Lanka Freedom Party to request the Prime Minister to resign before the motion of no confidence. Chief accomplice of underworld kingpin Lanka arrested.
I want your lead story this afternoon. A cabinet meeting chaired by President Maithripala Sirisena is currently being held at the Presidential Secretariat. The cabinet convened following a meeting between President and the Prime Minister along with the ministers of the UNP. It was reported that several cabinet ministers had left during the cabinet meeting. Our correspondent located opposite the Presidential Secretariat highlighted among those who left the premises was Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe.
දිනදා කටයුතු ඉක්මනට ඉවර කරගත්තා. විශේෂ දේවල් තිබ්බේ නැහැ. සියලුම කැබිනට් පත්‍රිකා.
Following the cabinet meeting, Minister of Law and Order Ranjit Madhum Bandara, speaking to reporters, said the cabinet members left the premises only after the meeting concluded and added that United National Party will work towards defeating the no-confidence motion tomorrow in Parliament. However, he did not comment on what transpired at the meeting held this morning at the President's official residence between the President and the Prime Minister. Minister Gavani Javikrama Pereira, speaking to reporters, said the SLFP did not announce their stance on the no-confidence motion. However, he added that SLFP parliamentary group will meet the Prime Minister this evening for a discussion. He added the President is expected to take a neutral stance on this matter. Minister S.P. Dissanayake said SLFP parliamentarians requested the Prime Minister last night to resign following a decision reached among the party members. He went on to note the SLFP has decided to vote against the Prime Minister and then they have conveyed the stance to the Prime Minister. Also in another one of your lead stories, employees at the Katunayake International Airport have stepped aside from their duties. The employees decided on this action, demanding for salary increments that had been promised for over 3 years. Our correspondent said the discussions on the matter with authorities this morning had failed. Minister Chandimavira Kodi says the SLFP as a group wishes for the Prime Minister to step down. He made these comments speaking on Newsline with Ramesh Irugan Bandara earlier this morning.
We've heard about a number of meetings taking place yesterday between the Prime Minister and the UNP group, between the President and the Prime Minister, and then finally between the President and the SLFP group. What did the President discuss during this meeting?
Well, we as a group discussed about the issue that we have to face. So they are finally having discussed, debated. Every one of us had the opportunity to come out with what we think about the situation and the decisions that we should be taking. Party as a group decided to take a unanimous decision with regard to our future and the decision that we are going to take about the no confidence motion.
So has the SLFP reached a stance on what they are going to do at this no confidence motion?
Well, as a first step, we decided that as a group to meet the Prime Minister today in the morning and to request him to step down.
So the SLFP is going to request him to step down today?
Yes, as a group that was our decision and that was unanimous.
Why was this taken all of a sudden?
Well, we believe to continue as a unity government. That would be the best possible option available for all of us as of now.
Now, given the Prime Minister's track record when it comes to resigning, in your personal opinion, do you think he'll go for it?
Well, I believe Prime Minister will think of the country, its stability, and also about his party and its future. If he thinks about those, he will, as a very senior politician, against whom we don't have anything personal, will take a decision to step down.
Okay, hypothetically, say the Prime Minister does not agree to the SLFP's request for him to resign. He goes ahead trying to battle this no confidence motion. Will the SLFP vote against the Prime Minister?
Well, for the SLFP, that's a very difficult question, because as SLFP, if you may look at the charges leveled against him in the no confidence motion, most of it is relating to the bond scam. It is the SLFP Central Committee that decided that the committee should appoint a subcommittee to look into the bond scam issue and to submit a report to the Central Committee in order to decide what course of action should be taken. So based on the Central Committee decision, we requested the government and the President to take firm action against those who are held responsible for this. So since most of the charges are relating to bond scandal, we will not be, I believe, in a position to go back on our word and face the societies. We are all elected members.
Moving on with more local news, today marks day 4 of the protest march from Kandy to Colombo, undertaken in support of the no confidence motion against the Prime Minister. The march commenced today from Nitambur.
The march has been organized by the Organization to Protect the UNP together with the United National Freedom Front. The march is being held under the theme, The Power Struggle to Defeat Dictatorial Cronyism.
Also, views were expressed in the political arena on the no confidence motion against Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe. With the current situation, we cannot go from house to house of people and ask them to vote for us. The reason for this is because the UNP has fallen to such a deplorable state. The UNP fielded 2 common candidates for the past 2 presidential elections. We don't need a common candidate for the 2020 election. We have the young leadership that the UNP supporters ask for. Give way to the young leadership of the UNP that can amass a great number of supporters from the grassroots level. We respectfully urge the Prime Minister to give way to this young leadership that the UNP supporters ask for, so that the United National Party will be protected. As the leader of the UNP, he became very unpopular after the revelation of the bond incident. My personal opinion is that it would be fitting if he resigns. The UNP, however, has had to vest that decision in the President. Even the President took this matter into consideration and said that it would be best if the Prime Minister resigns. What needs to be done is to introduce a better form of control, a cleaner form of control to move forward together.
We will make a decision which favors the people. The deciding factor will be the TNA. However, the TNA only has 16 votes. They had stated yesterday they will abstain from voting. However, there is one parliamentarian from them who has expressed his support for the President. Sumanthiran's vote will not only mean that Prime Minister's stance will become strong. If it is true strengthened, the PM needs our support as well. We have to decide if we are going to take the people's side or not.
As the person who had the central bank under his purview, the Prime Minister should claim responsibility for all the issues that transpired. That is why this no confidence motion was brought, since this is the biggest financial fraud committed in Sri Lanka and even in Asia. If the Prime Minister has any shame, he should resign before this vote is held. If he is under the assumption that everyone in the UNP is on his side on this matter, he will see that even his own party is willing to vote against him tomorrow. The no confidence motion against the Prime Minister is due to be taken up in 20 hours. Let's now take a look at the parliamentary agenda for this week. A number of proposals put forward by the Finance Minister is due to be debated today. The highlight of tomorrow's parliamentary session is the no confidence motion against the Prime Minister. At the party leaders' meeting held previously, it was decided to cast votes for the motion of no confidence following the announcement of the name of each parliamentarian. The fact that a technical error was experienced when parliamentarians used their fingerprints to cast their votes the previous vote held in Parliament was taken into consideration by the party leaders. The COPE committee are also scheduled to convene 3 times this week. Also, the much anticipated audit bill will be presented to Parliament today. Now, taking a deviation from the political news today, the main accomplice of the underworld character Anguda Lokka has been arrested.
The Special Task Force said the suspect, who is also known as Sarat Kumara, was arrested at his residence in Kotikawata this morning. Police Special Task Force personnel also seized a grenade in the possession of the 41-year-old suspect. He is scheduled to be handed over to organizational crime divisions today.
The human-elephant conflict claimed yet another life in Aserapula Velikanda.
A 49-year-old woman was mauled to death by a wild elephant when returning home after collecting water from a well. Locals allege the area is frequently visited by wild elephants. Following the latest incident, locals from 3 areas demonstrated at the Aselapura junction on the Polonnaruwa-Batiklu main road demanding a solution to the issue. A wild elephant caused damages to 5 houses in Kitulutua village in Kantale last night. Locals believe the wild elephants roam into the village from the Kantale Forest Reserve. This area constantly faces the threat from wild elephants. Locals allege the main reason for the issue is the absence of an elephant fence and demand authorities to solve the issue.
30 people were injured when a bus transporting a group of garment workers from Nolochole to Valithannawa Chilau collided with a lorry.
Police said the bus had collided with a lorry parked on the side of the road. Injured have been admitted to Chilau General Hospital. Police suspect the cause of the incident was the driver falling asleep on the wheel. The driver of the bus was arrested and is due to be produced before the Chilau Magistrates Court.